Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. It's amazing that this week's Torah portion is the source of the concept of Thanksgiving. You see, Leah has 4 children. Her first child she names Reuven, the second one Shimon, the third one Levi, and the 4th child she names Yehudah. And she says, because I'm going to give this time thanks to God. The word Yehudah means to give thanks, Judah. And what's fascinating is that we as a Jewish people are collectively called Yehudim, which means those who give thanks. The essence of being a Jew is to be grateful, to be thankful to God, to our fellow man, to show appreciation. Furthermore, every day we begin our daily prayers. When we wake up and open our eyes, the first word we say is Modeh Ani, I give thanks. So we begin each day with the words of thank you, Hashem. But it's fascinating that in Judaism, the word modeh means to give thanks, but it also means to admit. To admit is lahodot, could be to give thanks and gratitude, or to admit. Ani modeh, I give thanks. Or ani modeh, I admit. So when we say modeh ani, we could be saying, I give thanks to God, or I admit to God. When we say in the Shemona Esrei, in the prayer, Modeh Manach Malach, it could mean, I give thanks to you, God, or it could mean, I admit to you. What's the connection? Why is it that the same word that means thanks also means to admit? And the answer is that, sometimes people find it very difficult to say thank you. And furthermore, the greater the kindness someone did for you, the more difficult it is to say thank you. That's why sometimes saying thank you to your parents or to your spouse could be difficult, because you're admitting that you're reliant upon them, that you're dependent on them, that you could not have done what you did or achieved what you did in your life without them. And therefore the word thankfulness is the same as admittance, because in order to give thanks, you have to admit that you can't do everything yourself, that you're not perfect, that you're incomplete, that you're dependent and reliant on others, that you're not a self-made man, you're not self-sufficient. Starting with God, we couldn't breathe, we couldn't do anything without God. And then our loved ones, and then our friends, and our even strangers. And therefore, it's difficult sometimes to say thank you, because thanks means that there's a recognition that I could not achieve what I achieved or accomplish what I did, or to even be who I am without the help of so many others that I am reliant on, because only together can we achieve our mutual goals in life. And I think that's why this Thanksgiving is different, because after October 7th, we all realize that we're all interdependent on each other as a Jewish nation. As the entire Jewish people have come together to fight this evil, to destroy our enemies who seek our destruction, we realize we are all reliant on one another. Maybe before October 7th, the religious Jew thought he doesn't need the secular Jew, and the secular Jew thought he didn't need the religious Jew, or the American Jew thought he doesn't need the Israeli Jew, or the Israeli Jew thought he doesn't need a Jew in the diaspora. But now we realize that only collectively can we overcome this enemy, this hatred, this evil in our midst. And therefore there's a newfound sense of appreciation and gratitude for every single Jew around the world who is doing their part, what they're capable of doing to contribute to this effort to save lives and protect the Jewish people in the face of so many enemies, not just in Israel, but the anti-Semitism that we're witnessing and seeing throughout the world. On October 7th, when the tragedy began to unfold, there were 2 brothers, Noam and Yishai Slutky. Noam is 31, Yishai is 24. They're both married with children, and they heard about what was occurring in the south. And they both left their families, took their guns, their uniforms. They were IDF soldiers. They weren't called up. They voluntarily went to Kibbutz Alumim to fight off the terrorists. There were many terrorists who infiltrated the kibbutz, and they fought valiantly for hours, killing many terrorists and saving many lives. But tragically, at 10:15 on October 7th, they were both killed in a gun battle with the terrorists. They were both laid to rest on Mount Herzl in Jerusalem. And their father's name is Rabbi Shmuel Slutsky. He was a great rabbi in Jerusalem. And as he wept at the funeral and spoke about his beloved children, he talked about how he has comfort knowing that they saved many lives and that they leave behind families and wives and children who will carry on their lives. But then he made a personal admittance, and he said that my older son, Noah, I'm 31, was not religious. He had given up practice of Judaism. He stopped keeping Shabbos and observing mitzvot. And he said, to be honest, I was judgmental of him. I was disappointed because he had left my path. He says, and then what happened? They both went shoulder to shoulder, side by side in their last act, and gave their lives in love and protection and defense of their fellow Jews. And now I realize how wrong I was to judge him, that he was a tzaddik, he was righteous, just like his brother, no less than his religious brother. And it changed my whole perspective to never judge a person, never think that one person is any less than the next. You never know what's within the person, what sacrifices they are prepared to make, how great is their soul and their selflessness and their devotion and love. And that is what we've all come to realize, that every Jew is holy, every Jew is righteous, everyone in their own way is doing their part. And yes, we recognize how grateful we have to be to God and to one another for all the blessings in our midst, for all the wonderful people, the soldiers who are fighting day and night, who are risking their lives, the paramedics who are saving lives, the Zaka members who are dealing with the grim job of taking care of the deceased, the generosity and philanthropy of Jews around the world, the volunteerism. Everyone in their own way is part of this fight. And therefore, on this Thanksgiving, let's give thanks to God for the blessing of the Jewish people. Have a wonderful day.